Okay, we're starting on the bottom of Gimel on Beis, 3 lines down in the wide lines. We started this Gemara yesterday, but we got interrupted by Ma'ariv, so we didn't get to really explain it. So the Gemara is saying, we're talking about the Averis that Achan did. Achan, he was Moel in the Charamim, and we know he was Moel in the Charam of Yehuda, the Pasuk says it. But the Pasuk says that he was Moida, he did Kazais for Kazais. He did what?
He did Tshuva.
Later he did Tshuva and he went to Gan Eden, and that's the Mishnah saying. But in the meantime, when he was Maida, no thank you, when he was Maida, he was Maida that he also, the Gemara says 4 other times during the days of Moshe, he had been Mayel, and now only by Yeshua was the 5th time. Fret the Gemara, that Hashtamai time la Yanash. How come Klal Yisrael wasn't Nenash on the first 4 times? You see Klal Yisrael was Nenash on this time that he was Mayel. Why weren't they Nenash on the first 4 times? And for the Gemara, Amar Rabbi Yechon, Moshe Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Yechon says name of Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Shimon, Lefi Shlai Anash al Nestar such Avi Yisrael Siyardin, because they didn't get an Anish on the Nestaris until the Yidden went over the Yarden. What's going on over here? We have a pasuk. It says, "Hanistaras Lashem Elokeinu." The hidden things are for Hashem. In other words, it's Hashem's responsibility. How could Klal Yisrael know about the hidden things? By Niglas, but the revealed things, though the virus we know about that people did, Lanu L'Vaneinu Adelim, is to us and our children forever. Now, if you look in the Sefer Torah on this, when on the words Lanu L'Vaneinu, there are little dots. Right, the Nakud on Lanu L'Vaneinu and on the Ayin of Ad. I think this is Hazinu, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So, we learn from here, and we're going to say in a second how we learn it. We learn from here that the Nistarais, the hidden Averas that people didn't know about, I am only chayiv on Yankel's hidden Avera because of the musig of Arvas. Kol Yisrael Arevim Zebazeh. Right? That came, Hanistaras Lashem Elokeinu, that's only until they went over the Ardain. But once they went over the Ardain, the Nistaras are our responsibility also. That means that according to this Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Yechon, Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Shimon, he's saying the reason why Klal Yisrael wasn't punished even though Achan was Moel 4 times at the beginning was because it was a hidden Avera. Nobody knew about it. It was Nistaris. This is the responsibility that every priest has to make sure that every other Yid is doing the good thing. Yeah. But once they went over the Ardain, now they had Arvus already, and now Achan all Klal Yisrael was responsible for Achan's Avera already, and now that's why they got punished now by Yericha, even though he had done this Avera a few times already before. But now it's not so pashut. This is the teretz that Rabbi Yechon said named Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Shimon. But really, the Gemara says this is machlekes Tanam. Ketanoi, it's like the following machlekes Tanam. Pasuk says, "Hanistaras Lashem Elokeinu." The hidden things are to Hashem. V'aniglais lanu l'vaneinu ad olam, and the revealed ones are to us and our children forever. Laman lakad alanu l'vaneinu v'al ayin shabad. Why does, this is Rabbi Yehuda speaking, where I was going to say to Rabbi Yehuda, why is there a nekudas, dots, on top of Lanu L'Vaneinu and the Ayin of Ad? This teaches us that as Rebbeinu Shalom didn't punish the Yidden for the hidden Averis that they didn't know about, until that only the person who didn't know about it, but the rest of the class didn't know about it, until they went over the Ad, that's Rabbi Yehuda says. Now, how do you learn this? Rashi explains that when it says in the pasuk "V'aniglos lanu l'vanenu," the revealed averas are to us and our children, then I would have said, if it didn't say, if not for the nekudas, I would have said that that the vaniglos lanu, that the anastaras shalshem elokinu vaniglos lanu ulvanenu. Rashi says that really the pasuk should be saying that it's like this. Anastaras Lashem elokinu. The anastaras are to Hashem are Hashem. Now, why does it say the Nekudas? The Nekudas are coming to tell you that the Nistaras, once they went over the Ardain, are also on us.
Right.
So really it should say Hanistaris Lashem Elokeinu, and the dat should be on Lashem Elokeinu, to say that the Nistaris and the beginning are Lashem Elokeinu, but they're not always going to be Lashem Elokeinu. They're sort of like a highlight or parentheses around Lashem Elokeinu, because once we go over the Ardain, it's going to be on us also, Lanu Ulvanenu. That Lanu Ulvanenu is going both on Nistaris and on Hamiglis. So the problem is that it's not derech eretz, it's not covered to the Rebbeinu Shalom to put dots on top of Hashem's name in the Sefer Torah. So we put it down to the dots on Lanu Ulvanenu. And then, and we're saying to say that the Lanu Ulvanenu is not just over here where by the Niglais, but the Lanu Ulvanenu also is on the Hanastares. We're also responsible for them as soon as we go over the Ardain, and it's not Hanastares Lashem Elokeinu anymore once we go over the Ardain. And then why? So the pasuk is saying that the Lanu Ulvanenu goes on both, right? That's I said that, and the Dalet has the dot. The ayin of ad olam, the ayin has a dot to tell you that you shouldn't say that this is forever and ever, that Hanastaris Lashem Elokeinu Vaniglas Lanu Ulvanenu is going forever ever, both starting and ending forever. That it starts now. That Hanastaris Lashem Elokeinu starts now once they go over the Ardain. It's not ad olam forever ever. In other words, a dot usually comes to be memai, to say it's not as much as one would think. And that's over here also. It's saying that it's not as much as we would think, and it depends on what's going on, whether before the Ardain or after the Ardain. That's Rabbi Yehuda. And because of Rabbi Yehuda, that's the Gemara's teretz to say, that's Rabbi Yochanan Shimon Blazer, Rabbi Shimon's teretz to say that really the reason why they didn't get Achan, the Klal Yisrael didn't get punished for the Averis of Achan before they went over the Ardain was because they were still Nistaris, and in Nistaris, until they went over the Ardain, the Rebbeinu Shalom gave them a so to speak a free pass for Klal Yisrael because they didn't have Arvas. Amalei Reb Nechemia, through line from the banner, Reb Nechemia said to Rabbi Yehuda, "V'chi anash al Nistaris la'olam." Did the Rebbeinu Shalom give the einish on other Nistaris forever? V'lei kfar nemer ad olam. It says ad olam. Now, Rabbi Yochanan said, Rabbi Nechemia is saying that the ad olam has to say, you cannot say that ad olam is coming to tell you that vaniglas lanu ulvanenu ad olam. You can't say that the niglas is ad olam because that's a davar pashat. Of course, if it's nigla, we're going to be chayiv for it, right? We know there's an aver going on and we're not, right? So it doesn't make sense that ad olam is going on that. So he says that ad olam must be coming to say that the p'tur of Nistaris, that when the Rebbeinu Shalom says Nistaris Lashem Elokeinu, that means even after they went over the Ardain, you still have that p'tur. Okay? And what the pasuk is saying is that just like the Rebbeinu Shalom didn't gave a free pass, so to speak, for Nistaris, and the Rebbeinu Shalom continued to give a free pass for Nistaris even after they went into the Ardain, so too Hashem didn't give the Einshin Shabagaloi, the revealed Averis, until they went over the Ardain. But in other words, the difference is that after they went over the Ardain, they got punished in the revealed stuff. And according to Rabbi Nechemia, according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's the other way around. After they went over the Ardain, they got punished on the hidden stuff. But for the Gemara, if that's the case, according to Rabbi Nechemia, if the Rebbeinu Shalom didn't punish on the revealed, on the hidden stuff, we're going to talk about that. That's coming up in this Gemara.
If it's nigger, no one would be punished. It's a cloud.
No, it was. Remember, we said in yesterday's Gemara that the Rebbeinu Shalom said to Yeshua Klal Yisrael didn't have era. So Yeshua said, who? So the Rebbeinu Shalom said, Lashon hara, I'm not saying. So he said, what should I do? He said, make girls, make a girl. And Yeshua made a girl to the whole Klal Yisrael, and it came out to Achan. Right? So that's how they knew it was Achan, and then Yeshua pressed Achan until he was made that he did this. And if you look at the Psukim, some of which we're going to learn in today's Daf Yomi Sanhedrin, you'll see that Achan was made that he took three things basically. He took some silver, he took some gold.
No one else did Averis?
Well, we're going to see that Achan did a lot of Averis. He did a that. So, but the Gemara's question right now is, according to Rabbi Nechemia, the Maisa, even after they went over the Ardain, the Rebbeinu Shalom doesn't give punishment for the Nistaris. So Achan did something something hidden. It was hidden. So why did the Rebbeinu Shalom give a punishment? So in fact, the Gemara, why did Achan get the Einish? And for the Gemara, his wife and his kids knew about his Averis, so that in that sense it was Nigla, and therefore they got the Einish. Now, we're going to have a lot of Gemara about Achan and the whole story with what's going on over there. Plus, the Gemara is going back and forth on the different psukim in Yeshua, mostly.
Achan was who?
Achan was the first person. He was the son of Zerach, and he was. The Gemara is going to say he was not a good person, and we're going to say he did a lot of averis.
What was his position?
I don't know that he had a position. He was a soldier, I guess.
He was
a guy. He's a guy, and we're going to say that he did a lot of averis. So we're going to say that in next Gemara, about 5-10 lines down. And my son was asking me today, when you met, when he was here, he was asking me, I don't understand, why bring Achan to tell you about doing tshuva? Achan was a lousy person. I said to him, Jason, this is exactly what the pasuk is, what the Mishnah is saying. Even someone as bad as Achan, we did tshuva, he still got the oil chiluk olam haba. Because that's exactly the message. Now we're going back on the psukim over there. One of the things that starts the story off is the Rebbeinu Shalom said to Yeshua, Chata Yisrael. Klal Yisrael did an avera. Amar Abba Bar Zavda. You learn how to leave it over here. It says Chata Yisrael. Klal Yisrael did an avera. Afa pisha chata. Even though a yid did an avera, Yisrael, he's still Yisrael. You don't say that. Now he's out. No, even yid did an avera is Yisrael. Big klal. Abba said, this is the saying that people say, when you have a hadas, you have a myrtle branch between thorns, between thistles, it's still called a hadas. And you still call it a hadas. You don't say this is a thorn, right? Just because it's amongst amongst other thorns.
Interesting why he doesn't use a rose.
What?
Why he doesn't use a rose? A rose. Never a hadas, a rose.
Oh, why the saying? This was the saying? I don't know. Yeah, we say a rose among the thorns. Right? I'll tell you why. Because a rose belongs amongst the thorns. Right? The hadas does not belong among the thorns. The pasuk says in the same pasuk, it says Chati Yisrael, and this is what it says. The Rebbeinu Shalom was saying to Yeshua, "V'gam avras brisi asher tzivisi asam." They were over the bris. They did not keep the bris that I commanded them. V'gam lakchum and acherim. And they also took the
booty
from the stuff that they weren't allowed to take from the loot. V'gam ganvu, and they stole. V'gam kichashu, and they lied. V'gam sam b'chleim, and they put it in their keli. That's the pasuk. So the Gemara quotes this pasuk with a couple. It takes out a couple of vavs, but v'gam avras brisi asher tzivisi asam. That's one gam. Gam lakchum and acherim is the second gam. Gam ganvu is the third gam. Gam kichashu a fourth gam. Gam sam b'chleim is 5 gams.
I understand why some b'chleim is another. What else to do with it? They stole it. They did everything. Of course, they put in the pockets.
Any question? We have to look at them first. I don't know the answer. I'm Rabbi Allah, Moshe Rabbi Yeshua, Moshe Rabbi Yehuda bar Misparta. Rabbi Allah said the name Rabbi Yehuda bar Misparta. Malamich avar achan al chamisha chamshe tera. Shenemer chamisha gam. It says 5 times gam. Each gam is maramis to another chamshe tera. Achan was over on all the averis. Rabbi Allah, Moshe Rabbi Yehuda bar Misparta. Rabbi Allah also said in the name of Rabbi Yehuda bar Misparta, Achan Moshe bar Lasiyaya. Achan surgically tried to reverse his bris milah.
Who's looking at bris milah?
Who was looking at it?
Yeah, why
I don't know. You should know there's a movement, anti-bris milah movement, not from Yidden, but by Goyim, because they hold. Yes, that is also true. But they hold that it's not that their parents cheated them, and that they surgically try to restore their foreskin. It's people are very strange. But we find this also. We find this by the.
It won't.
But we find this by the Greeks when they were being Merachek Klal Yisrael from right. They were very their physicality Merachek Klal Yisrael, and they would go and play sports naked, and then Klal Yisrael, the Yidden, would look different because they had a bris milah, and the Goyim didn't. And they would also, you had people Yidden who would try to go and surgically change it so that they could be like the Goyim, right? So. Achan Moshe bar Lasei. Achan was a Moshe bar Lasei. Ksiv Hachan. When you learn this from a Joshua, it says over here, "V'gam avras brisi," over my breast.
Shmuel thought about bris milah, so it wasn't something strange.
It wasn't strange. He was a Yid, right? Right? And all the Yidden had bris milah. The pasuk says that they all had it. The Dara Midbar, they all had it when they came into Eretz Yisrael, so they could bring the Karm Pesach, right?
Yeah, but far being a Moshe Chalosai, Yishmael and Moshe.
No, that's Arab, but not Goyim. Arabs have, but not Goyim.
At that point, he was around. Yishmael was there.
Maybe they were around, but they didn't have, the internet in those days and phones to see each other. I don't know. They definitely had Yishmaelim. You have the pasuk by Yosef Tzaddik that the Yishmaelim, but apparently this was one of the things he did. And the Gemara says, because it says over here that the Rebbeinu Shalom said he was over as Brisi, because if Hasman, it says over there a different pasuk as Brisi Heifar, and that's talking about an Arul Zachar, somebody who doesn't have a bris milah, he gets karas. So you see that from the lashon of Brisi, then we learn at Xer Shava that Achan was Meishach Lasai. Pshita. It's Pashat. Why are you telling me that Achin was Moshe Charlasai? We have a pasuk. We said before that he was over on all the Averis, all Chamisha Chamshay Torah. So why are you pulling this one out from all of them? Mar says, you would have thought that in a mitzvah, the Rashash says digufei, a mitzvah that's in his body, he wouldn't go and rebel against. In other words, he wouldn't make light of it. In other words, it's already there. You don't go and reverse something that's done. Right? Kamashmalan that he even did that.
I understand. I mean, the Lashon, the Chamish means on every Asayan Lashon say a lot of them are to get to him. For the Kahanim and Levim,
so it's a good question. My son was asking me this question today, and I didn't know the answer. Yes, I didn't know the answer. But what? He's in a shell, yeah. But you could say that it means maybe all the Leisa says. That's one way to look at it.
Can do.
Or you could say that whatever he was able, like you were saying, that whatever he was able to do, he did. In other words, Chamisha Torah is not every single possible one, right? Like my son was saying. That means his father would have to have a wife besides his mother, so he could be boiler to be over on the Isra, and that, right? And then you're also making right, and you're making all sorts of right. So it could very well be that it's lav dafka saying that every single one, but the Maisa, the entire Chamisha Chamshay Torah was not machshav, right? V'chi asa nevala b'Yisrael. The pasuk says that Achan did a nevala in Klal Yisrael. That's what Hashem says about Achan. You see that Achan was boil in Aram Rasa. It says v'chi asa nevala. It says over here that he did a nevala b'Yisrael. By the case of Aram Rasa, the pasuk says that someone was boil in Aram Rasa. V'chi asa nevala b'Yisrael. He did a nevala. So it's the same shpach, right? Yes, it does. But we don't have a pasuk about that. We have a Kabbalah like that. We don't have a pasuk. Back to our Pshita. You said already he does Averis. Why do you have to say this Averis? Take it out from all the other ones. Maybe this Avera, which is much worse, because not only does he go and mess the Averis, he's also been la chavera, because he goes and she's still nara and she's still living in her father's house. He goes and he goes and puts. So you're answering her husband, and you're putting a black mark on her entire family because she's still living in the house. So you think maybe he wouldn't do this? Kamashmon, they did it also. Ravina says a different thing from Kiyasa Navala. Dine Kinaram Rasa the Beskila. But the Pasuk is saying that he did a Navala, and his din is like an Aram Rasa. Someone's bail on Aram Rasa gets Skila, and that's Taka what the din that Achan got. I'm going to Shklus Rav Huna. Shklus said Rav Huna. Ksiv says in the pasuk, Yeshua's Achan ben Zerach. Yeshua took Achan ben Zerach. Vesa Kesef, the silver that he stole from the Cherem. Vesa Aderes, there was a beged. The Gemara is going to talk about what that Aderes is later. Vesa Lashon Azav and a tongue of gold, like a gold bar. Vesbana Vespanaisav, his sons and his daughters, Achan's sons and daughters. Vesheri Veschamerei, his oxen, his ox, his donkey, Vestzoni, his sheep, Ves'alai, his tent, Veskolshloi, everything that he had. So the Rish Glusa said to Rav Huna, Im Huchat, the ban of Noisim Achat, if he would the Lavera, what did his kids do? Obviously, that the Rish Glusa is not going like Rab Nechemia. Rab Nechemia said, we said before, that according to Rab Nechemia, his wife and kids knew about it and didn't say anything. But he's going according to Rabbi Yehuda that it was in this star that they didn't know. Amar Leu l'tameich. So the Rav Huna said back to Rish Glusa, according to what you're saying, Imhu chatu kol Yisrael machatu, diksiv v'chol Yisrael imay. The very next words in the pasuk is that Yeshua took the whole Klal Yisrael out. It wasn't just him and his family and his oxen and his sons and his daughters, etc. Ela l'radaisan. It was to teach them a lesson, to teach them this is, you're not allowed to do an avera, and this is what happens to the person who does an avera. So that was for the whole Klal Yisrael. Hachinami over here also for the kids, k'dei l'radaisan. To teach them not to do like their father did, but not because they were going to get killed. The pasuk says they burned them in fire and they stoned them with stones. But Tarti, they did both. They first burned them, then they stoned them. What's going on over here? Ravina says haroi l'streifa. The things that roi to streifa, for example, like the beged or the gold, they burned. Haroi l'skila. The things that were roi for skila, like the shar and the chamar, were stoned. And the Rashi explains that this was a warning, like that it was a knas, like to say that the crime doesn't pay. You don't do averos. The pasuk says, "Ve'era b'shol aderes shinar achas taivat." This is Achan speaking to Yeshua and saying what he did wrong. He said, "I saw in the loot aderes shinar, this baggage from Bavel. Shinar is Bavel. Achas one taiva good, musayin shkalim kasef and 200 shkalim of silver." What was this Aderes Shinar? It's obviously a very chashuv thing. He really wanted it, right? Rav Amr Itztal the Milsa. Rav says it was a cloak of a milsa is a kind of wool that when the lamb is born, you immediately on day one of its life. No.
Virgin wool.
What? No, more than that. The first day. More than that. The first day of its life, you cover it up, and you keep it covered so the wool doesn't get dirty. So this wool never got dirty. Right, we had this Gemara and Shabbos.
Comes with full hair, whatever. Comes with full hair when it's born.
Comes with some hair, but then it keeps on growing in. But that hair that grows in, if you ever saw sheep, they're filthy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but and they have like lanolin. They have like this oil grease between that keeps it stuck together. It's their insulation.
Sheep.
Sheep, yeah. So, and it gets very thick. I had my brother-in-law had some sheep.
They look like this. It's like
Yeah. It looks like a big sheep, and suddenly it's a little tiny animal. But the point is that this was very, very protected from the elements and from dirt from day one. So it's very chashuv wool. So that's what Rav Shmuel, one of them said. Rav says it was itzlan. So Shmuel Amar Sarbla the Trifa. Shmuel says it was Sarbla is a coat out of Trifa is alum. It's a kind of mineral, and it's used to make dye stick to the beged. A lot of times you put a dye in a beged, then you wash it off. It doesn't stick. Right? This mineral, you soak it in that. It's what?
A permanent marker.
Yeah. So this mineral makes it that the dye sticks. So it's a better chashuv dye. So it's a more chashuv beged. But Yitzikim l'fnei Hashem, and he placed them or he melted them in front of Hashem. It says that Yeshua took this and he put them in front of Hashem. What's going on up here? Rav Nachman says, Yeshua went and he took this and he plunked it down in front of the Rebbeinu Shalom. He said in front of Hashem, Rebbeinu Shalom, Master of the Universe, Sanhedrin, because of these little things, relatively speaking, that Achan took, the Sanhedrin deserved to die. The pasuk says, when they had a war with Ai and they didn't win because of this Aveira, the Anshe Ai killed Kishloishim Rishisha Esh, like 36 people. 30 V'tanya, we learned in the Brayso, Shloishim Rishisha Mamish. Rabbi Yehuda says it was 36 people. How many in the Sanhedrin? It's 70, right? 36 is Roiv of 70, right? So it was like Roiv of Sanhedrin, it was Roiv of Sanhedrin was killed. Rabbi Yehuda, Amalei Rabbi Nachemi said to Rabbi Yehuda, V'chishloishim Rishisha Ayu, did it say there were 36? It doesn't. It says like 36 people. What does that mean? It was a Yarba Menashe. It's talking about Yarba Menashe, who was Menashe's son, who was a big gadol. He was the equivalent. He was the equal to Rav the Sanhedrin. But either way, Yeshua said he was one person. But either way, Yeshua said to Rebbeinu Shalom, because of this, did the Yarba Menashe, did the 36 Sanhedrin members deserve to die? I'm Rav Nachman, I'm Rav. Rav Nachman said the name of Rav. We're talking about what Yeshua said to the Rebbeinu Shalom. My Dik said, what's the pasuk? Following pasuk. It is a pasuk in Tehillim. I'm sorry, pasuk in Mishlei. Techrunim yidaber Rush. Rush, poor person speaks with gentleness and he's begging. He's with graciousness. The Asher Yan Azus. And a rich person says with strength. Azus usually means strength of chutzpah, right? It's not a good strength. A poor person speaks gently. Zeh Moshe, that's Moshe Rabbeinu. V'asher Yana Azus, and Asher speaks with chutzpah. Zeh Yeshua. This is Yeshua. Yeshua spoke with extra strength against the Rebbeinu Shalom, to the Rebbeinu Shalom. What's going on? My time. Why? What do we see that Yeshua did? And it was specific Yeshua. He plunked his stuff down in front of Hashem and said, Rebbeinu Shalom, and Rav Nachman, and said he went and he plunked him down in front of Rebbeinu Shalom. Didn't Pinchas do the very same thing? The ksiv, or the pasuk, the side that says v'haksiv, the pasuk says v'yamid Pinchas v'yifalel. This is after the Ma'isa of when the Bnei Yisrael were mizana with the Bnei Midyan, and there was. In Zimri was Mizana with the princess of Midyan, and nobody knew what to do. Kazvi Bastur, thank you. And Pinchas went, took the spear and pierced them with it. It says Vayam Pinchas Vayifalel. Pinchas stood up and davened. Vayatz v'teyatzram gave and them gave a stop. Rabbi Lazar, and Rabbi Lazar says Vayispalel. The normal language of any daven with a saf, it doesn't say Loi Nemer. It doesn't say that. El Vayifalel. What's going on? He made a judgment, a din with the Rebbeinu Shalom. There's a Rashi, it brings down on the side, the Rashi from a different, somewhere else where it brings it down. It says a riv, a fight with the Rebbeinu Shalom. He went and he took the bodies and he plunked them down in front of Hashem. He said, Rebbeinu Shalom, Master Universe, because of these two Avaryanim, Zimri and Kazvi, Yiplu Esser Avar Elf Yisrael, 24,000 people in Klal Yisrael should die. The Ksiv, like the pasuk says, the male to people who died in the Megef was 24,000 people. So how can you say that the one who speaks Azus is Yeshua because he said this, but we already had a generation before? I mean, Yeshua was alive then also, but I'm saying it was 40 years before, or at some point during the Midbar, that Pinchas did the same thing. So you can't say this is Yeshua. So it's from over here. It says, the pasuk says that Yeshua said to Hashem, Lama havarta havir es ha'amazeh es ha'yarden. Why did you bring the people over the Yarden? Right? Because he was punishing them. In fact, the Gemara, Moshe also said a very similar thing. It said, why did you bad to these people? So you see that this wasn't something that was unique to Yeshua and that Moshe was more gentle. Elamei Hachetz from over here. The end of that pasuk that I quoted before, Halavai, we would have stayed over on the other side of the Yarden. In other words, Halavai, we wouldn't have even come into Eretz Yisrael, and we wouldn't have listened to Hashem to come into Eretz Yisrael. That's what Yeshua was saying would have been better if that would have happened. And that was considered that Asher Yana Azos. That was compared to Moshe Rabbeinu, how Yeshua spoke. Yeshua kum lech. The pasuk says that Hashem said to Yeshua, "Get up. Why are you?" He was davening. Lama ata neifel apnecha. Why are you falling on your face? So kum lech, get up. I'm sorry, kum lach. Get up for yourself. For yourself, like lech lecha, the pasuk says that Avraham should go for himself. So over here also Hashem is saying, get up for yourself. What's it for yourself? Hashem said to Yeshua, it's your fault. The taina on you is worse than the taina on Klal Yisrael. I said that you should put up the special matzevis that Yeshua made with the Torah written on them. They were sad tabasid, they put on plaster and then they wrote the Torah on them. I said you should do it when you go over the Yarden. And you went and had extra 60 mil before you put them up. So you didn't listen to me.
Before the Yarden.
After the Yarden. In other words, Hashem said as soon as you go over the Yarden you should do it, and you should have delayed it for a travel of 60 mil. So it's your fault. There's taina on you. Basar the Nafik, after Rav Shila went out, Aikim Rav Amir Alei, Rav called over the person, and we call it an interpreter, but the megaphone, right? In those days, the Rosh Hashiva used to have somebody, he would say the shir low, and somebody would stand next to him and bellow it out so all the Talmidim could hear. So Aikim Rav Amir Alei, Rav got an Amir to stand up next to him, V'darash and he dashed in the following. The pasuk says, talking about Yeshua, Kasher Tziva Hashem es Moshe like Hashem commanded Moshe's servant, Kain Tziva Moshe's Yeshua. That's what Moshe commanded Yeshua. V'chein asi Yeshua. That's what Yeshua did. He didn't remove anything that Hashem commanded Moshe. So he was saying that you see from the pasuk that Yeshua, it wasn't Yeshua's fault. Yeshua was 100% Talmud of Moshe, and just like Moshe did what Hashem wanted, Yeshua did what Hashem wanted. So he was disagreeing with Rav Shela. It wasn't his fault. But then what's the pasuk kumlach? Imkein matam learn kumlach. What's the kumlach? Amalei. This is what Rabban Shalom is saying. It's your fault that you caused this, not that you did something wrong, but you caused this. How? This is what the Rabban Shalom said to Yeshua by Ai, which was the later fight after Richai. You should do for Ai and its king like what you did for Yericha and its king. King, kill them all out. But the end of the pasuk is, and the Gemara doesn't bring it down, but the end of the pasuk is, but do take the shalal, do take the behemoths, keep it for yourself. Don't do like you did by Yerichai, because that's going to be too much of a temptation for Klal Yisrael. Just like Yerichai was a temptation. So it wasn't saying that Yeshua did Avera, but saying it was your fault. He misjudged. He gave the wrong command. It was, the pasuk says that Yeshua was in Yerichai, and he picked up his eyes and he saw a person. It says, there's a person standing opposite him, and he had a sword unsheathed in his hand. I'm reading from the pasuk on the bottom, it's not in the Gemara. And Yeshua went to him, and he said, are you with us or are you with our enemies? And the pasuk, the Gemara continues, Vayomer, and the person said, it wasn't the person, Loi no, ki ani sar tzva Hashem, I am an officer of the army of Hashem, Atavasi, now I came. And the Gemara will explain on Amud Beis what this Atavasi means. Vayipol Yeshua al panav, and Yeshua fell on his face, arza to the ground, vayishtach, and he bowed. In fact, the Gemara, Hechi Avrachi, how could you bow to this malach over here? Amar of Yechanan, Asla l'adam shidin shalom l'chaver b'layla, a person is not allowed to give shalom to his friend at night. You don't see who the person is, and maybe it's a shade. And shalom is the shame of Hashem, and you don't say shalom to a shade because you don't say the shame of Hashem out on a shade. So how could he? And certainly you don't give cover to a shade by bowing to it. So since it was night and he couldn't see the person, like we see, it says he said, "Alanu atim tzarenu." Are you with us or are you with our enemies? So he didn't know who he was talking to. So maybe it was a shade. How could he do that? And for the Gemara, Shani Hasam, there's different. The Malach said back to him, and he starts for Hashem atabasi Gomer. I'm the start for Hashem. So he said, okay, I know it's not a shade, it's the start for Hashem. Fact the Gemara Mishakri, maybe the shade was a shade and the shade was lying. Gemiri, we learned mafki shem shemaim levatala. A shade doesn't say the shem shemaim levatala, so you wouldn't say he was a Malach starts for Hashem if it wasn't true. Now, what was the dialogue? What did this Malach say? Amar Lei, he said, Emish bitaltam tam shel ben arbayim. Yesterday or earlier, you were mivatal the tam shel ben arbayim. Earlier in that afternoon, because they were dealing with the Muhammad. Bitaltam tam Torah, and now you are because you were dealing with the war. You didn't do Torah. So Yeshua said back, Alezim and Basa, what do you come for? Like what? Which one? You said two things. Which one is the big bad one? Amalei Atabasi. He said, I came for now. I came for the now. That now you're Ravatal Deretera. Miyad right away. Yal Yeshua Balayla Hu B'Sech Emek. Yeshua slept that night in the Emek, in the valley. What does it mean, the Emek? Amar Rabbi Yechanan Melamed Shalom Ba'Em Kush Halacha. To teach us that he slept in the depths of Allah. In other words, he was sitting and learning all night. Amar Shmuel Bar Onyim Mishmei the Rav. What? All the Dashalim Dash. Yes. This is very good for high school.
At the bus,
yeah. Amar of Shmuel Bar Oni Mishmei Rav. Shmuel Bar Oni said the name of Rav. You see from here, Gadol Talmud Torah Yosim HaKravas Tamidim. That's the learning Torah is greater than bringing the Karban Tamid. Remember, we said before, Tamid is the Rebbeinu Shalom's lachmi, right? It's my. The Rebbeinu Shalom says it's my carbon, right? It's Torah is more than that. Shenemar, like Pasuk says, at the basi that the taina was for the Talmud Torah. Amalei Bailer of Dimi Abai said to Rav Dimi, Hai Krab Marava Maimad Bisule. The following pasuk, how do you in Eretz Yisrael? How do you learn it? Pasuk says, Al Teitzil Riv Maher. Don't go to fight quickly. Pen Matasa Bechrisa. Because what will happen in the end? When your friend ends up embarrassing you, fight your fight with your friend, and don't reveal the secret that belongs to someone else. It's a very enigmatic pasuk. It's 2 psukim in Mishnah. So what's this talking about? So Rav Dimi said, this is what it's talking about. At the time that Hashem said to Yecheskel, go tell Klal Yisrael, Avicha ha'amayri v'imcha chites. Your father is from the Amayri, from the Amorites, the Canaanim, and your mother is from the Chitim, from Bnei Ches. Huh? Hittite, yeah.
Hoodies, man, from Middle East.
Oh, the Houthis. Huh? I don't think so. I doubt it. But the point is that Yecheskel was saying to Klal Yisrael, he was insulting them. He's saying your father's from Amayri and your mother's from Ches, right? Amra Ruach Peskainis V'nei Kadosh Baruch Hu. The Ruach Peskainis, Rashi says this is the Malach Gabriel, said in front of Hashem, Rebbeinu Shalom, Master Universe, and Yavayu Avram v'Sara, the real of and aim of Klal Yisrael. Avram and Sarah came to you, Yamdu Fnecha, and they stand in front of you. Ata Emer Lahem, are you going to tell them and embarrass them? Rivcha Riv Esreyecha, fight your fight with your friends. In other words, if you have to give Techacha to Klal Yisrael, so say it straight to them. V'soid achar al tagal, and don't reveal the secret of Avram and Sarah, where they came from, because really they came from the Canaanim and the Mariam and so on. Right? Because what are you going to do when Avram and Sarah come and they say, "What did we do that you're embarrassing us?" So that's what Rav Dimi said. That was the dialogue in that pasuk. That's what was going on there. In fact, the Gemara, does Gabriel have Rashus to speak like that in front of the Rebbeinu Shalom? Gemara says yes. Rabbi Yosef Rabchanina says Shalosh Shem Sheishlai. This Gabriel has 3 names: Piskain, Itwain, Sigron. What do these mean? Piskain Shepaisik the Varam Klapimala. The Piskain is that he could say out words in front of, that's in Yiddish, right? He can say out words in front of the Rebbeinu Shalom. Itwain is a lashon of item, is hiding. He hides the various of Israel. Sigroin means kivan shesaygar. If he says the Rebbeinu Shalom is upset and there's nothing to do, he slams the door down. No other malach will go and open that door. Mara says Hayarach shuacha loy b'tzar. It's a passage by Eiv that Eiv's friends said to him, it literally means, can you set up your cries not in the time of tzaras? What does this mean? Amar Rabbi Elazar says, a person should be makdim the tefillah before the tzara. Don't daven now when you have the tzara. Daven now because maybe you'll have a tzara in the future. Because if not for the fact that Avram Avinu was makdim a tefillah for the tzara, between Beisel and Ai, which is where the Avera of Achan happened, the whole Klal Yisrael would have been destroyed because of that Avera of Achan. So Avram daven before him. The Marsha says on this that it says 2 times that Avram was daven. And one time it said, we know it says with Darshan, where it says that he davened al Eretz Yisrael. I think Rashi brings it down, and for the bris vein of Sarim that if I'm not mistaken, the haftacha that the Rebbeinu Shalom made to him. But then another time it says it daven, it doesn't say why. And the Marsha says this is what the Gemara is being medayik. He was davened now in that place because of the avera that would happen in the time of Yeshua, and that's what saved Klal Yisrael from destruction. Rish Lakish says another pshat in this pasuk. Rish Lakish Amar Kalam Amitz Atzman B'Tfilah, someone who makes himself strong with Tfilah Milmata, and on the bottom, Ein Lo Tzarim Milmala. The tzarim on top in the mekatrigim in the ilm ha'emes can't go and be mekatrig on the tefillah. So you have to be strengthen yourself with tefillah over here. Rabbi Yochanan Amar says the third shot, a person should daven that the malachim should help him to in his tefillas, and and that they shouldn't be against his tefillas. So Rabbi Yochanan is saying that gufa is what the person should daven for. A person should daven that he shouldn't have tzaras, which is malachim against him, holding his tefillas back. Okay, now we had this little bit of digression over here with Achan and all the related things that the Gemara brought down, because we said that you tell the person 10 amas out that he should do vidui, and then the Gemara continues. I'm sorry, we're not finished with Achan. How do you know they tell the person? How do you know that Achan's tefillah was mechaper from him? And then it says over here Tan Rabbanan, but on the side it says that many Rishonim say that this is really part of the quote from the Mishnah. It's not an own brisa. The Mishnah continues. How do you know that his vidui was mechaper? Shneim, like the pasuk says, Yeshua said, what this bad thing that you did to us, Hashem should do that to you this day. And the Mishnah Darshans, today you are achar. But the Mabah you're going to be okay. Uksiv, now we're doing the Gemaras we're talking. Yeah, no, it's not the Mishnah anymore. Uksiv uvnei zarach is another raya that Achan had El Mabah. The pasuk says uvnei zarach, the kids, the sons of Zarach, were these people: Zimri, ve'esan, ve'heman, ve'chelkel, ve'darda. And then the pasuk continues, Kulam Chamisha, they're 5. Why Kulam Chamisha? What's to say? They're all 5. We know how to count. Usually we have, Bnei Reuven, Bnei Shimon, Bnei this, Bnei that. It doesn't say how many there were. Why over here does it say 5? And the answer is, Kulam Chamisha Him Al Mabah. All these 5 are equivalent to Al Mabah. Now, what does this have to do with Achan? When the pasuk says, Bnei Zerach Zimri was the Achan, was the first, Achan's father's name was Zerach, Achan ben Zerach. So Zimri, when it says Zimri, it's talking about Achan. And the Gemara explains what does it mean. What was his name? Zimri was his name Achan. What's going on? Ksiv Zimri, Ksiv Achan. It says Zimri and it says Achan. What's going on over here? Rav Shmuel and Machlaikas over here. Chanamar Achan Shmai. One said his name really was Achan. V'lam Nikar Shmai Zimri. Why was his name called Zimri? Sha'asa Maisa Zimri, because he did the Maisa of Zimri, that he did Znus like Zimri did, because he was well in Aramarasa, and he caused Klal Yisrael to have so much harm, like Zimri caused the death of 24,000 people. Achan caused the death of Yehuda Sanhedrin. And the other one said Zimri Shmai. His name was really Zimri. Lam Nikar Shmai Achan. Why was his name called Achan? She'ichan avanesein shal Yisrael. The lashon of Achna in Aramaic, you say a snake is an Achna. He made the Klal Yisrael's Averis like a snake that rolled out he rolled it out onto them like a snake. But either way, the Gemara is saying that it says all 5 are the same, and Achan's 4 brothers were tzaddikim. Since the pasuk puts them all together and says Kol Chamisha, these 5, you see the pasuk is saying that Achan's tshuva was also neskabel. Zak the Gemara weiter. Im ena yidei le'esvada, if the person doesn't know how to be misvada, you say to him that you should say, let my misa be a kapara and all my averis. And then Rabbi Yehuda Imer Chulul l'nakasatzim. Rabbi Yehuda said that if the person was railroaded and really the Reidim Zaymin, he would say that my misa should be mechaper and all my averis except for this one, because I didn't do this one. Yeah. And the Chacham said, no, if that's the case, everyone's going to say this to make themselves look good. What's the big deal? Let them look good, right? Who cares? Gemara says, because otherwise it's going to be people are going to say that the Batidinim are corrupt, the Eidim are corrupt, so therefore we don't want them to say that. The Rabbanan learned. There was a story with a person that was taken out to be killed. Amar, he said the following: if I did this avera, this misa should not be a kapara for me, because he really felt he did not do the avera. So if I did it, I don't want to have it. I'm going straight to Gehenna, no problem. But if I don't have this avera, let this misa be a kapara for all my averas, the other ones. Bezdin, B'chol Yisrael Menukin, and Bezdin and all Klal Yisrael are clean. In other words, what are they supposed to do? Right, but I'm meichel them. But Edom like Tehillah Mechila Leilam. But the Edom, no Mechila forever. The Chacham heard this. They said the following: you can't go and commute the death sentence, right? Because once you make the psak din, you need a reason to take it away. Eli Harig, he's going to have to get killed, and the Edom who did this, even they felt that it was maybe not justified, that maybe Taki, he was saying the truth, that the Edom were Zayman, they're going to have this killer, they're going to have this einish around their neck. They're dragging them down. In fact, the more pshita, it's pashut that you can't. That this is what you have to do. Let the guy get killed. Kol kamine, is he believed to say just because he says this, we say that he didn't do the avera? Of course, we believe the Edom. But it says no. Lo tzricha. You need to say this. The kahaji gusadi. The Edom had charak. The Edom said, no, we made a mistake. It really wasn't this guy, or we didn't mean it, or we were lying, and still you kill him. Back to Gemara, if they were mahader, if they changed their mind, why would you say that it matters? It doesn't matter. The halacha is that once you said the halacha, once you said the Haggadah say this, you can't change your mind. Gemara says, no, you need to say this. Even though they give a reason to explain why it was that their motivation for lying, and it makes sense, they were paid off, they hated the guy, whatever it was, still, we don't believe them, still the guy's going to get killed. And the Gemara says, the maisa of the fellow, Bai, who was the tax collector. What's going on over here? So if you see, there's the inside column, there's a very long Rashi. Rashi quotes from the Yerushalmi. He doesn't say it's a Yerushalmi, but it's brought down in the Yerushalmi, although it says on the side that there are changes in this between the Yerushalmi. What was the story? The story was there was Meiches, a tax collector who was a Rasha, and he died. And that same day there was a Gadol Adar, a Gadol in that city also died. And everybody came to be Isaac in the Levaya of the Gadol, and nobody came except his family to be deal with the Levaya of the Meiches. While they're going out, bandits came, and everyone had to run away. And one of the Talmidim sat there by his Rebbe's thing, and when the bandits came away, everyone came back. They mixed it up. And they gave all the cover to the Meiches, and he was saying, no, you got the wrong guy, and it's like, stop, you know what we're doing, they didn't listen to him. He was very mitzvah, and like what tzchus did this Meiches have, and what avir did my Rebbe have to get this people Zion? So his Rebbe showed up to him in a dream, and he told him, look at my covenant in Gan Eden, and he saw that he had an incredible covenant in Gan Eden. And he said, let me show you this guy, this Meiches in Gehenna. And he showed him that this guy was in Gehenna, and the hinge of the door of Gehenna was poking into his ear. This is metaphorical, I don't know what this means, but every time somebody opened the door, it would like drill into his head. Right. Like when you have a pole, right? So you open the door, the pole rotates, right? So it hurt him every time. So you see that I got Gan Eden, he got Gehenna. So he said, but what was the story over here? He said, one time I heard the gnus of him, the chacham, and I didn't make him a cha, and that's why I got this bezayin. And one time this guy made a big suda for the mayor, the prince of the city, and in the end the guy didn't come, the mayor, whoever it was, didn't come, and he gave the suda to Aniyah, to poor people, and that was his schar. So Talmud said, until when will this bad guy, the Meiches, till when was he going to get this din? So he says, the Rebbe told him until Shimon ben Shetach dies, and Shimon ben Shetach is going to get this einish instead. He's going to be stuck on the door of Gehenna going in his ear. Shimon ben Shetach was the Gadol Adar, right? So he said, the Talmud said, what did Shimon ben Shetach do? He said, the Rebbe said, because there are Jewish kishif machers, women, and in Ashkelon, and he's not punishing them. He's not enforcing the halacha that they're not allowed to. So the next day, the Talmud came to Shimon ben Shetach and told him the story. So Shimon, what did he do? Shimon ben Shetach took 80 bachram who were strong, who was big and tall, and that day was a rainy day. He gave each one a big jar, and he told them put a talis in the jar, closed jar, and he said, be careful, because when you go into this place, pick up each lady immediately. Pick her up off the ground. Every lady. All these bachshefas were ladies. They're ladies. They're allowed to do it. There's no derech chiba over here. What? I know, but the truth is that there is a makar. Like if I don't know, there's a lady coming out of a boat, right? And you're the server over there, you can help them. Anyway, so he said, go once you pick them off the ground, they won't have any kayach in their kishuf to do anything to you. But if not, they're going to get you with their kishuf. Shimon ben Shetach went to their palace and he left the bachram hidden outside. And he came in and he said, I'm a kishuf macher, I'm a magician. I came to test you guys. So they said, well, what's your resume? What can you guys do? He said, no problem. I could bring you like this 80 bachram wearing talisim that are dry on this rainy day. So they said, yeah, let's see. So they went outside and he basically gave the sign that they should come, and they all came out and took the dry talisim out of the jars and put them on and came right away to the ladies and then picked them all up. And they were able to take them, and he says they told him kulam, he hung them all. And then the relatives of these witches, if you will, they were very upset, up in arms, and they brought false eidim to be made that Shimon ben Shetach's son, his own son, was chayav misa. And they were able to give a convincing testimony, and there was a Gemara din that Shimon ben Shetach's son should be killed. And when they were taking him out, they had charata. When they took him out, he said, if I have this avera, my misa should not be a kapara to me, and if I didn't, my misa should be a kapara for all my averas, and the Eidim should get what's coming to them. And when Eidim heard this, they got scared, and they said, no, it's really we lied. And they came and explained that we did it because the relatives came to us and paid us off to do it, and because the ladies they hated Shimon ben Shetach, and still Shimon ben Shetach's son didn't get pater because and the Gemara says that this is, even though the Koyavi Tamil Messiah, like this whole long story, right? Still Yirah Chayzer, and that's what happens. And the Rebbe Shalom runs the world and makes sure that things go. What do you call it? Looks like we still have 1 more minute. So let's finish the daf. Huh? You want to stop? You can stop.